Awesome.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, happy Monday. Topic today is an agent I spoke to last week who had an issue, and it's kind of how to conserve a policy that you have written. To me, it's much easier to conserve it face-to-face than it is by phone. Yet, depending on the way you do it, I'm going to kind of give you examples on both sides, and hopefully it can help you conserve an application that turn to a policy that you can save. Before we get going on how to do it, you got to sit back and you think, I've spoke with this person on the phone or face-to-face. They've gained trust in me. They've given me all their personal information, such as checking account information, Social Security number, driver's license. I've asked them all the health questions. They got a plan. They got approved. So you need to ask yourself, what do I do? They've got total trust in me. Do I just let it go? So what ends up happening is that you're going to get somebody who's going to either cancel on you or have an NSF on you. You just really don't know why. Some agents then say, I don't care. That $50 premium, I'm not going to sit and worry about it. I'm not going to chase it. Some agents will say, well, I'm going to kind of try, and if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. And the more aggressive agent is going to say, I want to get this back on the books because I worked hard for it. If I'm on the phone for 10 minutes with this client, or I have to drop by and visit with this client for 10 or 15 minutes, it's a save. Because if you think about it, let's say your commission on it, let's say it's $400. This is a small number, $400. How bad do you want that $400? You got to go out and write another policy, use up another lead just to make up that $400. What if the policy premium was $100 a month? Your commission could have been $1,000. How bad do you want that $1,000? Some agents say, I'm not going to worry about it. Me personally, I'm going to do what I can to get it back on. I'm going to go over and above the call of duty, especially if you're working in the same area. Now, let's say you're working the south side of town and this took place in the north side of town. You've got no reason to go there. And then you may have to call the person depending on what your schedule is. So it's all based on geographics, where you are, how much time you have. Now, my recommendation is to put it back on the books. Some agents say, Joe, it's already been 3 months. I'm not going to worry about it. I get a charge back. I'll go write the person with somebody else and make the commission all again. You may. Carriers look at your persistency. If your persistency, your fall off rate falls below, most carriers is 60%, they're going to terminate you. They're going to give you a warning, yet they're going to terminate you. So you have to sit and think, how much do I enjoy writing that carrier? Plus, there's also got to be some standards that you have as an agent to do a fiduciary duty because you went to that carrier to write the client. Our job is to put it back on the books to where the client has got no hiccup. Clients don't like change. Clients could have made a mistake. They could have canceled. Another agent could have come there, show them something differently. And a lot of times, it's not usually something less expensive. It's because the new agent may not have told them the whole truth. They may be charging them a couple dollars more because they made a bad mouth your carrier that you didn't do a good job talking about how long your carrier's been in business for, how long you've been in business for. So let's take the high road. You're in town, the client is a person you saw face to face. What I'm going to do is that I really don't want to call them because there's a good chance I'm going to tell them on the phone, I cancel it, I don't want to see you. The way I would do it, I would go and I would knock on their door. And what I would take is just one piece of paper and a pen. That's it. One piece of paper and a pen and my phone in my pocket. No briefcase, no laptop, no backpack, no nothing. Because you want to lower their guard. You want them to feel comfortable that you're not going to come there to try to put it back on the books. You're there to tell them, Ms. Jones, how you doing? I see how your policy lapsed. I don't know what happened. First of all, are you aware that it lapsed? I'm going to tell you probably 30 to 40% are not even aware it lapsed. It lapsed. They're not even aware. I don't know why or how it could lapse, because if you do the Social Security billing, which I recommend you to use carriers that only do Social Security billings, when their check comes in on the 3rd of the month or the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th Wednesday, when that check comes in, everybody knows whose money's coming out. Says, we got a check coming in for $1,500. And when that check comes in, that triggers all the automatic payments coming out to come out after that money comes in. Could have been a mess up? Yeah, there could have been a mess up. Who knows? Who knows? You don't know. So let's say, oh, I didn't realize it fell off the books. Your heart rate stops. You go inside. Well, let me get it back on the books. Now you have to call the carrier with the client and say, can you draft it today? Or does the carrier draft it next month? Do they do a double draft? Every carrier is different. Okay? And I don't have them all memorized. Now, get back on the phone. Let's say the client says, well, yeah, I decided I didn't want it anymore. I changed my mind. So you got to sit and think before you left the house, any notes you may have made on this client. If they had a policy before, do they have any money in their savings account? I make notes of this stuff here. When I'm talking to a client, I'm asking them, how much money you have in your savings account? Not much. I put not much down. Do you have a policy in force now? No, I don't. Did you have one before? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Yes, I did, but it lapsed. Why? I have all of these notes. They're trigger points for me that's going to help me help the client make a sale for them and me at that time of point. It also serves a point that when I go back to visit with the client, I know exactly what they told me because I've got my little notes either with me. I used to keep my applications and all my notes in the car for months. Kept them in the trunk of my car, alphabetized, so when something happened, boop, I pull the whole thing out, kind of do some reviewing, so I knew exactly what was going on. Now, they're going to sit and say, well, somebody else came in and had something cheaper than yours, which could happen, okay? Now you have to find out who the carrier was. And usually what's going to happen, they have not received the policy from that new agent yet. So you need to ask them, I understand you got something less expensive. How much is the new price? Hopefully they're going to say a couple dollars less than yours. Next question I'm going to ask you, did the agent leave you a receipt like I did? No, he didn't. Do you know the name of the company the agent put you with? And they're looking and they're saying, I think it was, yet I'm not sure. Did the agent leave you a brochure about the company he put you with? No, he didn't. I do all that. I'm going to leave you a receipt. I'm going to leave you a brochure. I'm going to leave you my company card. I'm going to leave you everything. So if this comes up, now I'm going to make a comparison. I left you a receipt. I left you who the company was. I told you the company's AM best rating, where they were, A plus, B plus, whatever it is. I said, I do business the old-fashioned way. I said, if you sit and think about it, what I took care of you on had level face amount, level premiums, the cash value grows. You already have this policy in effect for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever it is. Your cash value is already starting to grow. And it's really not too smart for you to cancel it for $2 a month. You're looking at $25 a year. And I'm not saying $25 a year is not a lot, yet I'm here today because I care about you. I care about your family. In my notes, I've also got down beneficiary's son is Anthony and daughter's name is Marie. You have your son Anthony and you have your daughter Marie as your beneficiaries. And that was my whole job, was to come here to take care of you, to make sure nothing hurt them when that sad day came for you. So now you're kind of rebuilding their memory bank. You're trying to let them know and feel that you're there for them. You know their children's names. You know they didn't have a policy before. You know they didn't have prior coverage. And you're pointing out what the other agent should have done for them as a good agent would do. Now, I will tell you that I probably get back, I'm going to say 80 to 90%, I'm going to get it back. I'm going to get it back. Because the mere fact is that when I go in there, I'm going to go in calm. I'm not going to attack them on why did they buy from somebody else. Because everybody's got a reason why. I returned yours, Joe. I got this one. It was cheaper. The guy told me this. The girl told me that. Okay? Now, if you don't have anything to compare it to, now you're kind of like a fish out of water. Now, what you have to do is that you've got to sell yourself again. You trusted me. You gave me all your information. I'm back here. I knew exactly what you're going to. It's kind of like, is $2 that big of a difference to get rid of me when I'm here for you again today? Well, my budget is tight. I can't afford it. You know, $2 does add up. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear all the whining and all that stuff there. Now you've got to sit and take a step backwards, relax, and just tell them very calmly, I'm your agent. I'm going to be with you through thick or thin. No matter what goes wrong, I'm going to be here. I will be the one who will deliver the check to your son. You live in 33617. I live in 33603. I'm basically your neighbor. Does this other guy live around here? I don't know. I told you where I lived. I will be here when that day comes. So what you're doing is that you're reselling you now, okay, to make them feel that you will be there when something happens to them. Now, that one piece of paper is for you to make notes on, to doodle on, because hopefully what you're going to do is they're going to say, you know something, Joe, you're right, I'm going to keep the policy. So now you got to pull your phone out to call up the insurance company to find out what you got to do to put it back on the books. Normally, you normally get 30 days to get it back on the books for the client. Okay? Now, when you get it back on the books for the client's going to ask you, well, how do I cancel this other one? I said, well, when the policy comes in, you're going to write on there, cancel, I don't want it, and put it back in the mail. That's all you got to do. You don't have to call the agent. You don't have to call the company. I'm telling you how to do it. Because what happens, people feel bad. Oh, now I got to call this guy up. I got to tell him I don't want it. So it makes them a little bit nervous, and that's a reason why they don't want to cancel, because they've already canceled yours. You're there. They feel bad, but they don't want to cancel from the other guy, which I don't know why they don't want to cancel from him, but they got no problem canceling from you because of $2 or $3. When the policy comes in, you may call me. I'll come over here. I'll do it the old-fashioned way, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. People like that. People get a little bit nervous when they got to do things that they don't feel comfortable doing. This is why you got to get uncomfortable to learn what you need to be comfortable doing when you're going and speaking with people. It's no fun to go see. It's no fun to go talk to somebody who canceled a policy on you. I can't say, oh my God, I can't wait. Yet what I look at is what I'm doing it is that to me, I make it a challenge. Am I going to get this person back on the books? Am I going to speak slow enough? Am I going to be prepared to know exactly what I have to know? Am I going to know what their beneficiaries' names are to hit their heart and soul? Am I going to look at my notes to see if they had a policy before? I'm going to find all this stuff out. So I look at it as a challenge to me to get it back on the books. Because I know when I go to somebody's house, I'm doing it for the right reasons. I'm not there just to make commission only. I'm there to help the family out. I'm there for, hopefully they'll give me referrals. I'm there when something goes wrong, they can call me. I'm only a phone call away. And see if you're face to face. Now, if you're on the phone, horse of a different color. Horse of a different color. Now you got to get on the phone and do basically the same process as what I said, yet you can't touch that person. You can't look them in the eye. It's just a little bit different. Okay? That's why somebody just said, I'm not even going to worry about it. Yet you have to try. Okay? Because I'm going to say 30 to 40% of the time is probably not the client's fault. Okay? And what ends up happening with agents, they'll go in and they'll lead, I don't need any money today. You can set the draft up anytime you want, because they weren't trained properly. And the client says, yes, my check comes in on the 3rd of the month, yet I want to make sure the money is there, drafted on the 5th. So an inexperienced agent is going to say, no problem, because they want to make the sale. Anything wrong with that? No. Yes. And the reason it's yes is because clients that we deal with usually take their money out the day the money comes in or the next day. They're not the best at money management. This is why the insurance company says, what can I do, insurance company, what can I do to save insurance company money? And they designed a way to work hand in hand with the Social Security draft date to where the money comes out for the insurance company on that date there. Because it's costing the insurance companies money. It's costing us money too, but the insurance companies were losing the lion's share because they had the underwriters, they had all that stuff there, sending out policies, doing all this stuff here. Granted, we lost a big amount as well. So when the client says they want to draft it on the 5th, don't give them that option. The way the options are is that your check comes in on the 3rd Wednesday of the month. And what the insurance company has designed is that when the money comes in from your Social Security in your checking account, it triggers your check that goes to the insurance company to come out. So the money comes in, money's sitting in the account, it tells everybody in the banking account the money's there, Mr. Jones's money's there. Now it goes down to the next line and says, okay, we have to give this money to the insurance company, and it triggers to do it. I have never had a client call me and say, Joe, my Social Security check was not deposited in my account on the proper day. Never in my entire 29, almost 30 years of doing this has a client ever told me that there. And I'm going back to prehistoric time, 30 years ago, when I never had that problem. Back then it was the 3rd of the month. The first disability, the 3rd for folks over who are getting Social Security. Now we have so many people who are on Social Security, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Wednesday now. They'll probably end up changing it maybe 5 or 10 years. They may change it to 4 times. Who knows? Now, they call you, they cancel, you find out they canceled, say, you know something, I need to come by the house and have you sign a piece of paper for my records, and the insurance company knows that you canceled. I need to come by and have you sign a piece of paper. That's the reason for that one little piece of paper, okay? I need you to sign something. And when they have to sign, they want to cancel, oh, they get a little nervous now. I don't want to sign that paper. Well, why do I have to sign it? I had one man say, why do I have to sign it? I had to cancel it. I said, well, it's just part of the protocol. You don't want it. I don't want something to come back on me that when your daughter sees a policy that we wrote and you pass away and she calls me and tells me my father had a policy with you, I'm going to say, no, your father didn't. I'm going to show her this piece of paper that you signed saying that you didn't want that policy no more. It takes a little bit of a hard face to do it, but just Tyler, you got to be uncomfortable to do the right thing, okay? Sometimes you got to put the client in check. You do it professionally. Always remember you're doing what's best for the client. Now, if the premiums are $15 a month different, $15 a month, which I don't think that would ever happen, then you got to take a soft step backwards and say, what else do I have in my portfolio of carriers to offer this guy here? Okay? Never see anybody $15. I've never seen $10 apart. Okay? Yet, you don't know. So, Be polite. Recommend not to call unless it's a phone sale. I like the element of surprise. Visit with them. Find out, were they aware of it? Let me see if I can talk with you. I'll have you sign this piece of paper and I'll be out of here. The game starts now. Why did you cancel? Why did you change on me? And when you ask that question, you can't give them, it's not going from a question to an answer, and it's not going from a question to a multiple choice that you're going to give them. Put them on the spot to make them give you the reason why they canceled it. The hardest thing for you to do is not to talk, because we have to talk. We feel we have to help the client make a decision. We have to help them with their answer. So with that said, hope this helps. Make it a great day. We love you. If you need anything, call us. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.